you've been invited to the cookout, a kickback, or you got a new bag in your life, and you're meeting family for the first time, and you want to bring a dish that shows that you can stunt. Now, I wouldn't suggest something like macaroni and cheese, because that can be a little controversial. It's a little sticky, because everybody has their favorite aunt, grandma, mom, that brings over the macaroni and cheese, and I don't want you stepping on any toes. Yeah. So, you can never go wrong with dessert, and you can never go wrong with cheesecake, because I can guarantee you this. No one is showing up to the cookout with a freshly baked cheesecake. It's just not happening. Now, before we get started, I do want to caution you, this cheesecake takes a little bit of time. It's very easy, but it's gonna take a couple of hours for it to set, at least 6 to 7 hours. So, with that cautionary tale in mind, I promise you it's worth it, because it's rich, it's decadent, it's luxurious, child. Cheesecake is a stunt. Most cheesecakes just have a graham cracker crust, but we're gonna have a graham cracker and cookie crust. Now these are those airport cookies that you get like on the Delta flight. They're European cookies. I actually grew up on these. Like I told you guys, I am a military brat. I spent a majority of my childhood actually overseas in Germany. So these are like second nature to me. You can find these at pretty much any store. So don't panic if you're like, oh my gosh, where can I find these cookies? You can find them anywhere. You need a total about 1.5 cups of crumbs for this entire cheesecake. So I'm gonna use 5 graham cracker cookies and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 12 of those in there. Let's see if that gets me to 1.5 cups. Okay, so I buttered my springform pan. You can find this pretty much at any store, Walmart, Target, Amazon, wherever you shop at. I like using cookies for my crust because it offers a different texture. I don't know if you can tell like the bigger crumb pieces in here. Sometimes graham crackers can be just a little too fine. So the cookies add up a nice crunch. So to this, I'm gonna add 5 tablespoons of melted butter. In your microwave. You're gonna mix that up. Make sure all the pieces get wet, and then we're just gonna dump it in. So take the back of your spoon. If you got a cup, you can use this bowl if you want to, and just press it in. I don't push my cheesecakes up on the sides. Like the sides don't have crust. I just put it on the bottom. If you're into that, I would make a little bit more crust. So that way it reaches all the way up to the top of the side. I hate when you get to the end of a cheesecake and it's like all this crust left and like very little cheesecake, and you're like, okay, this feels chaotic. Perfectly packed in there, as you can see, the different graham crackers and the cookie. My springform pan is leak-proof, but I don't know about your springform pan, so I'm gonna do this step with you. So just double line it, and you're gonna wanna fold it up. You don't want to put so much work into your crust for it to be soggy. We are doing a water bath, sis. We're gonna do a cheesecake, honey. We're gonna do it right. Okay, so next we are going to work on this filling. So I've got 4 blocks of cream cheese, full fat cream cheese. Now don't choose cheesecake to be the moment where it's like, I just start eating real fat. Like, no sis, not with cheesecake. Full fat, sis, full fat. This is the most important thing that I'm going to tell you out of this video. Please pay attention, turn the volume up, look at the screens, look at me. Make sure that all of your ingredients are room temperature. That's important. It helps prevent cracks so that way you don't have these odd, weird temperatures. Like I said, cheesecake is a very easy thing to make, but it takes time and patience. A cup of sugar feels a little chaotic, I know, but this is a cheesecake. It's dessert. We're gonna do a splash of vanilla extract. This is just 1 teaspoon. And 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. Doesn't have to be from actual lemon. If you buy the lemon juice out of the thing, that's completely fine too. We're gonna take our hand mixer, or if you have a stand mixer, or if you wanna whisk this by hand, sis. First of all, you have my respect. Cheesecake whisking by hand. Whew. And we're gonna go ahead and blend this. As you can see, it is gonna be easy to blend because everything, like I said, is room temperature. Even the lemon juice, y'all, was room temperature. Okay, now the secret of this cheesecake, thing that's gonna make it silky smooth, I mean it's silky smooth without it, is the crème fraîche. Now this is also room temperature. Now crème fraîche is basically fancy sour cream. So if you don't have access to this, or if you go to the store and you see the sticker price and you're like, "Ooh, Vina, I'm not spending X, Y, and Z for crème fraîche," use sour cream. At this point, you want to blend really, really well. Really well. Like, make sure everything is incorporated, and I'll explain why in just a second. Make sure you spray the sides of the bowl. Make sure everything is in there. Blend again. Okay, at this point, try your cheesecake before you put the eggs in, because once you put these in here, you can't try it. So try it now. And ask yourself, did I just do that? I did that. So now we're gonna take our eggs. Again, room temperature. I'm cracking them in a separate bowl because we're gonna add them in one by one. The reason I asked you to whip everything really, really well is because I don't want you to over whip the eggs. The more you whip, the more air you're whipping into this custard. And I don't want that for you because then it's gonna have cracks. So we're gonna add 3 large eggs, one by one, until it's just incorporated. Here we go. Now, if you got a couple of little yolks still on the side, just take a little spatula and fold it in. At this point, you should be smelling your crust. Like, it's telling you, "Hey Nina, hey sis, we're almost ready. We want the next part." If you start smelling your crust, it means it's time to pull it out. In the meantime, we're gonna take some water, hot water. If you have a pot, do it like that as well. And we're gonna boil some water for our water bath. So we got our crust, it's screaming for me to bring it out. We're gonna take our cheesecake filling and just pour it on in. I forgot to do this, but you want to adjust your rack to the lower middle rack, not the middle rack. So we got this tray. This is my cheesecake bake tray. If you can see how many times I've baked cheesecake in here. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be something that holds water. The water is going to create steam and moisture around this cheesecake, which will also help prevent it to crack. Again, I keep mentioning cracks. You're like, it's like, you know when you bake something, it's got like that line or things kind of cracked open at the top. We're trying our best to prevent that. Hence why everything is what? Room temperature. At the end of it all, we want to pull out a beautiful, pretty cheesecake. So our water is ready. We're just gonna pour it around the side. Please don't pour it in the cheesecake. Pour it around. You just need about 1 inch of water in the pan. All this steam is gonna create moisture in the oven for your cheesecake. So we're gonna slide this in the oven for an hour. Depending on your oven, I would start checking it around 50 minutes, but for the most part, put it in for an hour. So it's been about an hour, and we're gonna take a little wooden stick or a wooden spoon and tap it. You see how the whole thing jiggles? That means it's set and that it's done. We're gonna leave this cracked, and we're gonna turn this off. You don't wanna bring it out of the oven immediately to cool because, again, cracks, all of that. You want a pretty cheesecake. So you're gonna let it sit in here for an hour with the door cracked, about 1 inch, and then we'll be back. Okay, so this cheesecake has been sitting in this oven for an hour. As you see, I had time to paint my nails. We're just gonna take the whole thing out. This is gonna sit on your countertop for another hour. The point being is that you wanna slowly drop the temperature. If you were to pull it straight from a hot oven into a cold refrigerator, it will crack. All right, so I'm about to slide this in the refrigerator to set overnight and go to bed. Before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and get our strawberries together. Now, if you're not having a strawberry topping, you can skip this part. Now, I already rinsed them with apple cider vinegar, and now I'm just gonna slice them and put them in this bowl. Here's a sped up shot of me doing that. Okay, so I just sliced a whole container of strawberries. I'll save these for a topping later. And what we're gonna do is macerate these strawberries. So I'm gonna take some sugar and an orange. You can use any citrus that you like. I'm just gonna do about, this is 1/4 cup of sugar. And stir that around. The sugar and the acid is gonna help the strawberries release its natural juices. That way we have a beautiful sauce come the morning when it's time to actually eat this cheesecake. I'm gonna put these strawberries in the refrigerator, put the cheesecake in the refrigerator, let it set overnight. This is gonna release a beautiful and delicious juice, and we will enjoy a slice of cheesecake together. So, in the meantime, good night. I'll see you in the next 2 seconds. All right, y'all, so clearly I have changed my clothes. I have gotten myself together, my contacts in, put a little makeup on, because that's the type of greeting that our cheesecake deserves. And of course, I will have a slice with you, honey. Look at that. It's beautiful. Look at all of this juice that came out. What I like to do is take a little blender. Because I like my sauce a little thick. And I'm just gonna pour a couple in here. Let's pour a little juice in here. Child, you can make lemonade with this. So I'm just gonna pulse it a little bit. All right, that should be enough. Look how lovely. Now you can blend this whole thing if you want to. I may end up doing it, but in the meantime, honey, let's just go on and. I'm so excited. Cheesecake is definitely like top 3 desserts for me, and it's not 3. We go on out. Perfect cheesecake. Me. I'm gonna talk to you with this knife in my hand. Make this cheesecake. Make the cheesecake. Make the cheesecake. Take a little strawberry action. Put that on top. Sauce. Here's that on. For the razzle dazzle. Y'all. This don't make no goddamn sense. This crust, let's work our way from the bottom up. All right, this crust is crunchy. It gives you a little complexity outside of just the graham cracker crust because it's got the cookies in there that we put. That's layer 1. Layer 2, this cheesecake is perfectly set. It's not going nowhere, okay? It's not going anywhere because it's perfectly set. It's creamy. There's no cracks. Let's go ahead and get a strawberry so we can wrap this up. We once again created perfection. Try this cheesecake. Go to the cookout with this. Show up to Bae's house with this. Send this to your mom and them. All of that. All of it. Sis, make this cheesecake. Take the time to make this cheesecake. You won't regret it. No one who's gonna eat it is going to regret it. I promise you that you will do it perfectly. It takes time, it takes a little bit of patience, but I promise you, you got it. All right, you got it. I believe in you. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm about to go enjoy this with maybe a cup of coffee, but until next time, please rate, comment, subscribe, all the things. Let me know if you try this. Slide in my DMs, hit my comments. I would love to know if you try it, but in the meantime, happy cooking. Wow. I don't know why I'm shocked. It's perfection every time.